about black capitalism, generational wealth.
Feel like a black public money I got coming in. Can't turn my back on the hood. I got love for them.
This is why we can't get nowhere. That line right there encapsulates a lot of our mentality. And I just want to talk the truth about it, because a lot of these financial literacy spaces love to talk about money, love to talk about business, ownership, generational wealth, financial education. All this stuff sounds great. It sounds good, but nobody's being honest. And the truth of the matter is, you know how when Kanye said Bush don't care about black people don't care about generational wealth.
My man talking.
Let's be honest. We always talk about who care about black people. Black people don't care about black people. It's just so much about our mentality that shows we don't care about it. We don't have a sacrificial mentality. We have a slave mentality. We know how to be sacrificial lambs, but we don't know how to sacrifice for generations. Nah. At one point we were getting there, you know, back in the day, way back in the day, few generations ago, we were getting there. But truth be told, after Martin Luther King passed, everything passed. That whole dream passed. And the reason why we have that mentality is because we want to reap the benefits. We want to have the cake and eat it too.
Talk.
Let's be honest.
You know it, huh? We funny.
It's not really a sacrificial mentality. We want to enjoy the fruits of our labor. We don't really want to build and pass it on. We want to experience it before it goes, before we go. Yeah, I might leave some money for my kids and for my grandkids, but I still want that Mercedes though. I'll put some stuff away. I might make some investments, but I still want that lifestyle though. I still want to experience some of it. You know, I still should have nice things. Nothing wrong with that. I should be able to do that, right? Ain't that what God intended? For us to live in prosperity, for us to enjoy the finer things in life. Ain't that what God intended? I grew up poor, so I should be able to experience it, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with going to get those Jordans. There's nothing wrong with that. But all of that rationale is the reason why I say we don't care about generational wealth. We still want to eat the fruit. We don't really want to pass the fruit off to the next generation or the generations after. We want to pass it off with bite marks because we had to taste it. We got to taste it. And then they leave bite marks in their fruit and it carries on. Everybody has to taste the fruit. We can't just pass it all off. We got to get a piece of it, right? We give it away as we're chewing the food. See, it started with a deluxe apartment in the sky. Started with that. But then we turned that into deluxe houses, deluxe stories, deluxe neighborhoods. You know how Martin Luther King said, I might not get there with you when he was talking about the promised land. I might not get there with you. We don't have that mentality. We have the mentality of grabbing as much as we can before we go. And whoever else just gets the rest. But I'm going to get mine though. But then people want to have conversations about reparations. What? Reparations? I saw the articles, you know, in California with, you know, the task force over there talking about reparations, monetary reparations more than anything. We ain't talking about systems, infrastructures, laws, education, GDP, currency. We ain't talking about none of that. We just talking about payout. And I'm just like, you think we can handle reparations right now? You think we have the mentality to handle reparations monetarily? They said 40 acres and a mule could equate to $6 trillion, 6.4 trillion to be exact, in today's climate. We spent that the past 6 years. We already spent that. We spend $1 trillion a year. We call it the black dollar. We call it black spending power. We call it everything but wasting money. Now, to be clear, a lot of that spending has to do with necessities, but another good part of that spending has to do with indulgence, flat out consumerism. We blame a lot of people outside of ourselves. We blame other structures and races, but truth be told, what we want for ourselves, we don't even want for ourselves. And I'm just like, yo, if you just want to live your life how you want to live your life, then just say that, man. Don't worry about all this stuff about culture and generational wealth and all. Just say, yo, I just want to enjoy my life, live my life to the fullest, and keep it moving, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Listen, I can't be mad at that because the generational wealth is really for generations way past our generation or the generation under us, because they lost too. They know what we know. We lost, so they lost too. It ain't even about them. They done. This is about our grandkids. And on top of that, we love to talk about ownership. Hey, Ebony K. Williams said, hey, if he owns the bus, then we can talk. Not if he made the bus, Not if he produced anything as far as the bust. He just has to own it. Our definition of ownership isn't the world's definition of ownership. Our definition of ownership, if I'm just being completely honest, is just consumerism. We feel as though we can buy ownership and buy freedom. The world's definition of ownership is production. Everyone else owns what they produced. We own what we buy. If the world sat at the table and said, you know what, everybody brings what they contribute to the table. One culture may bring technology. Another brings manufacturing. Another brings produce, weapons. What we bringing? Hip hop. That's the last thing we really made. Oh, we bringing the entertainment. That's what we're bringing. Because we have a lot of entertainment value because that's what we produced. Our entire concept and idea of ownership is buying everything. That works until they decide to change the value of everything. When they change the value of the currency or they change the value of what you're trying to buy. You know, they talk about reparations and ownership and generational wealth, but truth be told, as long as hip hop exists, it won't happen. Reparations and hip hop cannot coexist. Generational wealth and hip hop cannot coexist. And this is from someone who grew up on hip hop. But now it's time to be honest about hip hop. Hip hop will destroy everything about reparations and generational wealth. It is a complete contradiction of it. The entire identity of hip hop is overindulgence, overconsumption, squandering. The entire culture is against generational wealth. I don't care how many 444 albums Jay-Z come out with. It is a complete contradiction of it. Because even in 444, all he did was just talk about buying stuff. He didn't talk about making anything. Consumerism. Hip hop is the engine of consumerism. Hip hop is the engine of spending. Now, don't get me wrong. We had spending habits before, way before hip hop. But what hip hop did was take our spending habits, attach it to a rocket, and shoot it to the moon. I hate to say that. But unless we get rid of hip hop, we ain't going nowhere. Only thing we're going to do is just spend money and create the optics of doing better. Hip hop just makes us look like we're doing better than what we really are. And somebody can say, well, what if we just change the music? You know, just change the topics in the music and the concepts of what's being talked about. What if we just change that? Well, that's still going to require you to change the people in the neighborhoods that you don't want to go to, the people in the neighborhoods that you don't want to talk to, the people you distance yourself away from. You gonna tell them to stop talking about making money? It ain't even just about changing the rappers. You got to change the people that listen to it. J. Cole can rap till he blue in the face. You know how many people don't care about him? You know how many people do not listen to him at all? We spend trillions of dollars a year and still can barely make it. How much do you think is actually being passed down? Black people care about generational wealth just as much as they care about marriage. And you see how that's going. But tell me what y'all think, man. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.